Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today, the title is correct. The Petropavlovsk is getting nerfed again. Which is pretty surprising because she just got nerfed. The first time she was nerfed, she now sits higher up in the water to where 50% more of her citadel is exposed. That's a pretty big nerf to the Petropavlovsk, which depended upon how low it sat in the waterline for a lot of its tankiness. Now, obviously not all of it. Apparently not all of it, too, because she's getting nerfed again here in another pretty darn big way as well. On top of some other very surprising buffs and nerfs to several other ships, today's devblog is just full of surprises, on top of some more submarine changes as well. So there's two devblogs, linked to both are in the description down below. Any relevant images or artwork I will throw up on screen as we go through it. So go ahead, check out that link, and you can read along as I would read aloud, but I would also recommend you guys check out these articles anyway afterwards. So we're going to go ahead and go right through it, starting with the first one that was released earlier today. And it states, balance changes to Chikhalov, Petropavlovsk, Yuyang, Des Moines, and other ships, 11.4 closed testing. We're tuning the balance of some ships based on your feedback and the analysis of their combat effectiveness. If deemed necessary, more changes such as these will follow in future updates. So I'm going to go through each ship, get my 2 cents on each one, and just move right along because there's a lot of ships to go through in this devblog. So starting out, Des Moines, the Tier 10 American heavy cruiser. Action time of the surveillance radar consumable reduced from 40 seconds to 35 seconds. The surveillance radar consumable is now selected by default in its slot. So, I think this change is pretty fair with the new commander skills. Well, I'll say the new commander skills. Ever since the commander rework, you can get the Des Moines radar to something like a minute and I think 20 seconds. So it makes sense that they're cutting it down again. Like we're talking about a radar that's lasting for over a minute and a half here. In some cases, if you've never been in like clan battles or anything competitive, when there's two Des Moines or two long duration radars like that are coordinating their radar, it's an utter pain to deal with. So I do think that's a warranted change. Alright, the Buffalo, same thing. Action time of surveillance radar consumable reduced from 35 to 30 seconds. Surveillance radar consumable is now selected by default in its slot. Same comments as above. Baltimore, same thing here too, 27 to 25 seconds. And then my thoughts on that, again, same comment as above. And the Harbin, the Tier 8 Pan-Asian cruiser, Sigma reduced from 2.05 to 2.0. I never thought the Harbin was that much of a sniper in the first place. Its rate of fire should still make up for it, so yeah, okay, odd change. The United States, which is the American super aircraft carrier, tactical attack squadron prep time increased from 150 to 160 seconds. Tactical torpedo squadron preparation time increased 150 to 170 seconds. I think both of those changes are very, very, very warranted on the United States. I mean, these super carriers are kind of nuts. These tactical squadrons, they really aren't things that you're waiting on often when you play these ships. Now, I haven't played the United States since super ships have entered the tech line in full. But when I had the United States during the testing period, and the prep time I believe is the same, you didn't really worry about, oh, is it going to be up in time? Because by the time you got done with your other squadrons, the tactical attack squadron and torpedo squadron were pretty much already up. So again, it's not something that you really had to worry about, and them increasing it by 20 seconds for the tactical torpedo squadrons is, I think, a much needed change. The tactical torpedo squadron in the United States are kind of nuts. And if you guys don't know, these are the jet aircraft that the United States gets. These torpedoes hit incredibly hard. So I'm very glad they're nerfing the prep time for these torpedoes. Alright, the Eagle, which is the British super carrier. Tactical attack squadron preparation time increased 150 160 seconds. Tactical torpedo squadron preparation time increased 240 to 250 seconds. Again, see comments above. Wasn't much of a wait time for those planes either, although I didn't play the Eagle as much as I played the United States. Alright, the Petropavlovsk deck armor thickness reduced from 50 to 40 millimeters. Casemate armor reduced 50 to 40 millimeters as well. That is a massive armor nerf, just all at once too. They didn't even try to like decrease it by a little bit. They just gave it the whole on just 10 millimeter nerf right there, which does allow quite a few ships now to get through it. I believe the Golden Lion can get through it, the tier 10 Dutch cruiser. The Audacious, I believe, can pin it with her HE bombs now. I think even the Hornet can do it now with the B-25s. And, Zeppy can with her rockets. And I think the Nakhimov can as well. And I think the Nakhimov use the same rockets as the Palmetto. So both of those can. Then the Henri can. Henri the 4th, the tier 10 French heavy cruiser. And De Witt should be able to as well. Yeah, De Witt should as well. And then I think that's it for the cruisers that can now penetrate the armor and casemate armor of the Petropavlovsk. And that is, again, a huge buff. I'm sorry, a huge nerf. Huge nerf to the Petropavlovsk. Huge buff to the rest of the game. Now, with the Petropavlovsk getting nerfed to where she sits higher up in the water, that obviously increases the chance of you being able to citadel her, because again, now 50% more of her citadel is exposed. But you still had her crazy deck armor. 50mm deck armor on a cruiser is pretty nutty. So now that that's being nerfed down to 40, I think we're going to see now a big, substantial decrease in Petropavlov's survivability. So, yeah. I still think the ship's going to be incredibly tanky. It's still a very thin ship if you look at it from the bow on, and just its profile overall is still pretty thin and low on the waterline. She doesn't really have a lot of superstructure to HE farm, but now that you can pin her deck, I do think this is going to be a noticeable knock to her survivability. And plus, HE spam is going to be a lot more effective against the Petro if you are using something with the proper caliber to get through that 40mm deck armor. So, good change there. I think most of the community will enjoy this change. Speaking of the Henri IV, she's getting a buff too. Her rudder shift time is being reduced from 11.9 to 11.2 seconds. That's a good change. Henry's a kiting, dodgy, throttle jukey cruiser. Ouija, give me my old Henry acceleration, de-acceleration back so I can throttle juke to my heart's content. Ragnar, which is the tier 10 Pan-Euro DD, main battery reload time increase from 3.2 to 3.4 seconds. Ragnar's a pain to deal with, so I do think this is needed a little bit. It does suck that it is, of course, a reward ship. And yeah, but I mean, it's something that definitely needed to happen, in my opinion. If you've never fought against a Ragnar, it's a very scary situation to be in. She has cruiser caliber guns on a DD, by the way, with a 3.2 second reload time. So yeah. Alright, the Hisyang, the Chungmu, and the Yuyang. Listen to this. Added torpedo reload booster consumable. You get 2 charges base, and you get a cooldown of 300 seconds. So I guess they're making torpedo reload booster the Pan-Asian thing. Which I guess makes sense. They did need a national identity besides just being hand-me-down American and British ships. So, sure. I would be surprised if nothing else gets changed in response to this. Because the Pan-American, Pan-Asian cruisers, DDs, geez. They're not bleeding the average damage charts anywhere, I do believe. But obviously they weren't designed with this in mind, at least in their current state. So, yeah, Yuyang can take radar. So radar on top of torpedo reload booster with deep water torpedoes. Yeah. But hey, you Pan-Asian DD fans out there, you guys are getting a nice pick-me-up. It's kind of like when the French cruisers got reload booster when the out of nowhere. So, okay, cool. Pan-Asian DD fans rejoice. Alright, the Zorky, which is the Khabarovsk, it's the Soviet super destroyer. Torpedo range increased from 8 to 10 kilometers. Main battery reload time increased from 5 to 5.3 seconds. Why would you go and do that? It's just a Kaba already. Okay, Zorky got nerfed a little bit. It's feeling like the Kaba did a little while ago. Alright, Grozovoy, range of researchable torpedoes increased from 10 to 12 kilometers. Grozovoy gets a buff out of nowhere. Okay, and they just buffed the Tashkent too. So, yeah, alright. Belfast 43, main battery reload time reduced from 10.5 to 10 seconds. Nice pick-me-up for the Belfast 43. Still not as good as OG Belfast. The Admiral Hipper, after all these years, she is getting a buff. Main battery reload time reduced from 11 to 10.5 seconds. Huzzah for the Admiral Hipper. That ship has been getting screwed over for years with its armor profile, so A nice small buff to its reload time is appreciated. It's still going to get vibe checked to hell. Giving it a heal would make it quite good. Now, obviously, the Prince Eugen has a heal, which is a Hipper class. That's the premium version. The Eugen's still very good with its much slower reload time than the Hipper, but seeing that some love to the Hipper is very nice. At the Talon, the Tier 8 Soviet heavy cruiser, main battery reload time reduced from 13 to 12.5 seconds. That's a very painful ship to play, so seeing a little love there for it too is very appreciated. Alright, the Chikhalov, the Tier 8 Premium Soviet CV, maximum torpedo damage reduced from 5,200 to 4,666. Wow, that's a good number. Sarcasm intended. Maximum skip bomber damage reduced from 8,700 to 7,500. Good change there. Fire chance reduced from 49 to 43%. Some much needed balance changes on the Chikhalov. That's a ship I got the review wrong on. I said it was kind of underwhelming. I just didn't really have a good grasp on the Chikhalov just yet. And is, until these changes go live, kind of nuts. So some much needed changes there. Alright, next dev blog, submarine testing. So they address some of the primary concerns that a lot of us have been bringing up about submarines, so let's go ahead and go through it. Here are some changes we're planning based on your feedback about submarines. We received a lot of feedback about our testing of submarines, so we're here to address the following commonly raised points: the matchmaker, the ASW gameplay, and submarine survivability, new mechanics for displaying the source of enemy sonar pings, removal of the ability to remain constantly between two depth states by quickly tapping the dive and surface buttons. The matchmaker. Following the changes to matchmaker will be implemented with the release of update 11.5. The limit on the number of destroyers or submarines in a team will depend on the length of the wait time of the first player in the queue. 0 to 39 seconds, 4 in total, with no more than 4 destroyers and no more than 2 subs. 40 to 89 seconds, 5 in total, with no more than 4 destroyers and no more than 2 subs. 90 plus seconds, these limits will be softened. They don't really say what that means, but we can assume that it's going to start to allow more of both. Also in update 11.5, in order to unclutter the interface, the animation associated with the sonar ping hitting a target has been toned down for ships with currently active ping sectors, and the sound effect for them has been removed. Added a warning icon when aiming a sonar ping in a direction that intercepts with an island, similar to one that is used for main battery guns. Added a marker on the depth meter to display the depth at which the seafloor under the submarine is located, as long as the seafloor is above the ship's maximum depth. That's very much appreciated. Added a warning when a collision is possible when transitioning to a selected depth. That is also very nice as well. So good changes here from what I've seen so far. Again, little changes so far. There's been several times when I've been playing subs that, you accidentally bump into the bottom because obviously you don't know how deep the water is underneath you while you're on the surface. And if you're close to an island, sometimes you have enough depth to go down and maneuver, sometimes you don't. So having warnings and indicators about this is very much appreciated. Alright, ASW gameplay and submarine survivability. After some analysis of their combat effectiveness, we're reducing the survivability of submarines in update 11.4. The damage radius of ship drop depth charges has been significantly increased from 450 to 800 meters. That's a lot. Increase the damage dealt by airstrike depth charges in the outermost part of their damage radius. Okay, very good. The minimum airstrike depth charge drop distance for battleships has been changed to 500 meters like cruisers. Thank God. Thank the Lord Jesus for that, because there's several times that I've been playing a battleship and the subs, obviously, too close to the ship for me to drop depth charges on them, but I just sit there and stare at it because I can't do anything to them. That's pretty frustrating. So that being toned down to 500 meters is a good change. So yeah, some good changes to submarine survivability. Submarines they're not difficult to kill. It just does take more to kill them than it probably should. So these changes are, again, much welcomed. New mechanics for displaying the source of enemy sonar pings. So this is basically going back to the old hydrophone. When the submarine pings, there's going to be an effect on top of the water showing you whereabouts the submarine is at. We already talked about this in a previous dev blog, so I don't want to spend 3 minutes reading through all of it. But this is what they're changing about it. Or this is what was noted when they tested it. The effect disappears too quickly and is too difficult to notice. The effect is often displayed too far from the submarine to determine its actual location. So this is what they're changing about it. They've increased the time of the effect remains visible to 5 seconds. The distance at which the ping from the emitting submarine is displayed has been halved. So therefore it's going to appear closer to the submarine and it's going to stay on top of the surface from longer. Okay. Removal of the possibility to remain constantly between two depth states by quickly tapping the dive and surface buttons. In update 11.4, we remove the possibility of walking the line between the two different depths while enjoying the benefits of both. The characteristics of the periscope depth are maintained between the depths of 0 and 15 meters, where the border between periscope depth and maximum depth now lies. Now there are two possible depths while at maximum depth, 30 meters and 60 meters. They don't say how this changes anything, unless was operational depth like 25 meters and people were like abusing staying at like 15 and 20, I don't know, 23 meters or something like that. But that's what they have to say about that. Am I just missing something here? I'm sure y'all will correct me in the comments if I am. Okay. And then they go through and they change a bunch of submarine commander skills. We're not going to go into all of that. You can go check that out for yourselves because it's just, you know, some slight tuning here and there. So again, these are, they want to note at the bottom, all of these can be tested right now in the public test. And then these effects should be going live at 11.5 in regards to the submarine changes. All right, guys. So some good changes, I think, overall here in terms of balancing for the ships. I already went through and gave you guys my 2 cents about those. The submarine changes, again, very, 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 very good changes. I do think some much needed changes, especially when it comes to the survivability of subs. And I'm sure most of you will agree with me there. So guys, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below, since you guys already heard from me. I will be live streaming right here on the channel from 5 p.m. US Central to 8 p.m. US Central tonight on both YouTube and Twitch, so come out for that. We had a great time last time. So again, guys, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday and have a wonderful weekend. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We're on our way now to 35,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. We're getting very close to our goal, and I am planning on doing a giveaway when we get there, so make sure you guys stick around for that. Again, hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.